Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got breaking news here on a Saturday morning surrounding Julius Randle. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, Julius Randle had surgery this morning on that left ankle that he hurt at the end of the regular season that caused him to miss the last 5 games. Then he got back and ready for game 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then he got hurt later again in that series, caused him to miss game 1 against the Miami Heat. Got to play the rest of the series, but you could clearly tell that it was definitely hindering his performance and really the player that he is and was during the regular season. And now, this morning, we're getting news that it's a lot worse than I think a lot of people thought, myself included. New York Knicks announced today that Randle had arthroscopic surgery on his left ankle, and he is expected to be ready to go for Knicks training camp later this summer, around August and September. So before we get any further into today's show, I want to ask you guys a question. Does the fact that Julius Randle having surgery or needed surgery on that ankle change your opinion or view of how he played in that series? Does the fact that he was not a good basketball player, did not help the Knicks win, was, I guess you could say, somewhat lazy on defense, does that, change your opinion of that series now that he had ankle surgery? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Look, if we knew at the time that Julius Randle was going to have ankle surgery, 3 weeks after the Knicks lost to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference semifinals, yeah, I think we all would have acted a little bit different. I mean, arthroscopic surgery, that's no joke, man. And look, it's May, or I guess it's just June, early June now. He's going to be sidelined for 2.5 months, and that's really going to take out all of his summer preparation for the upcoming season. Definitely throws a wrench into things. Leon Rose and this regime have some tough decisions to make, and one of those decisions was going to have to be on Julius Randle. And I think this series of events really kind of outlines that he's not going to get traded, because I don't see really any team out there wanting to trade for Julius Randle after coming off ankle surgery. While it could happen, no doubt, I just think that for a guy that already has a lower trade value than his production, I mean, right? Like, 2-time All-NBA player twice in the last 3 years. He was the most improved player 2 seasons ago. And he was a guy that played in 75 games this year. He was available. He was reliable. And as much of a headache that he is, how frustrating of a player he is, we can't deny that he's one of the most talented players in the NBA. Look, you don't average 25, 10, and 5 3 times in a row without being an elite basketball player. And that's what Julius Randle is. Sometimes it just comes up to here with Julius Randle and the fact that he's quite literally one of the worst playoff performers of all time based on statistics. But with all that being said, I think that, for myself at least, I don't know if I can just make a brash statement that he's just not good, that he's not a playoff performer when he pretty much played on an ankle that needed surgery. It almost makes me want to give him one more chance. And usually when you have to give someone one more chance, you probably shouldn't give them that chance because they've already showed you their cards and showed you the player that they are. But I would really enjoy seeing Julius Randle one more time in the postseason fully healthy. Thing is, we don't know if that'll ever happen. That's the wild thing about sports. Nothing is for certain. Nothing is automatic. And who's to say the Knicks are going to get back in the playoffs next year? While they have a great team, while they overachieved this year, no doubt about it. But it's a year-to-year thing. That's in the NFL. It's in the NBA. You got to do it. What the Knicks did this year, getting to the second round, forcing a Game 6, a Jalen Brunson turnover away, essentially, from a Game 7 in the Garden, that doesn't mean anything for next year. Well, I do think the Knicks will make the playoffs again. We don't know. And I'd like to see a healthy Julius Randle in the playoffs. It's just kind of hard to wrap your head around the idea that he was so bad against the Atlanta Hawks in the 2021 playoffs, shot less than 35% from the field, but there was excuses for that one, right? Like, his best teammate was Derrick Rose, who came off the bench and then got thrusted into the starting lineup. And in this past year, he got the ankle injury and ankle surgery. Like that, you don't get ankle surgery unless it's a big freaking deal. I am curious why it took 3 weeks since the last game for him to get ankle surgery. One thing I will say, though, is During the postseason, Julius Randle didn't want to talk or answer questions about his pain or discomfort in his left ankle or if it was affecting his game. And I salute him for that, no doubt. I wonder if he should have been playing, though. Had some decent games. He was really good in game one against the Cleveland Cavaliers in that first half. Had that offensive rebound that sealed the victory. Shot like 41% against the Miami Heat. But you could tell that ankle was definitely hindering him and making him less of the player that he is. So I want to ask you guys this question. Should the Knicks trade Julius Randle? What do you think? Should they run it back? Should they ship him out? Let me know what you think. Type T for trade, type P for pass. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Look, I just don't know if you're going to get equal value back for Julius Randle. Like we talked about, two-time All-NBA player twice in the last 3 seasons. He was really good 2 years ago, not so good last year, and he was really good this year. The thing that concerns me, though, is so far this offseason, I've really started to do some deeper dive into some analytics for the New York Knicks, and one that kind of popped off for me is that when Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle were both on the floor, they were just a plus 1.6 points per 100 possessions, which is the 62nd percentile, meaning not very good. But when Jalen Brunson was on the court and Julius Randle was off the court, they were plus 13 points per 100 possessions, which was 98th percentile, which means they were one of the best teams in the NBA when Brunson was on and when Randle was off. And it was kind of the same thing. When Brunson was off and when Randle was on, they were plus 8.8 points per possession. Points per 100 possessions, excuse me. That's 94th percentile. So what does that tell you? They were better when they weren't playing together. But it was just the first year of that partnership, just the first year of that marriage. Can they get better? And I think they absolutely will. They're both feeling each other out. They're both two really talented players. And I think both of them want to win. And I think they only really care about winning. I have my questions a little bit about Randle. I don't want to completely, just erase what happened in the playoffs due to that ankle injury. But, man, imagine going to your job and you had, an ankle that needed ankle surgery. No matter what your job is, your performance is probably going to go down, and especially when you have to play basketball. So I feel bad for Randle. I thought he really turned a corner this year. Had some ups and downs during the regular season, but he definitely turned a corner, and now this. So I feel bad for him. Type his jersey number 30 down in the comments section. Show our guy Randle some love. Hope the rehab goes well. If he is on the New York Knicks next season, I hope he's ready to go for training camp preseason, ready to roll for Game 1 of 82. I appreciate you guys for all tuning in to the show today. Hope you guys have a good Saturday, and we'll see you later.